You are live.
All right, we'll call the Budget and Finance Committee meeting to order of Akron City Council. Do I have a motion to suspend all rules as pertain to in-person voting?
So
I'll make
moved.
a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, very good. And then also motion to approve minutes from last week's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, thank you. And Sarah, I should have done this at the outset. We could just go ahead and have a roll call for all of our members.
Freeman,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Baylor,
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
All committee members are present.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. We have one item on the old agenda, and this was our ordinance regarding general provisions, Chapter 105, public art program, establishing the public art program and authorizing the Akron Art Master Plan and declaring an emergency. Hopefully, each and every one of us have been able to digest what we received last week and fire off any questions. So before we would ask for a favorable report, questions from committee members first off, or any other council members that are present? No? Okay, with that, do I have a motion to suspend the rules and pass this?
Motion
Make a
to
motion.
suspend the rules.
Okay, we had a
Okay.
motion and second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, very good. We'll pass that out and make sure and say a special word of thanks to all of the hundreds of individuals that were involved in making this come to pass. All right, moving into our new business. We have first up an ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent to enter into a contract without the formality of advertising for bids to purchase video conferencing equipment from Life Size Incorporated for use in the Akron Municipal Court, approving specifications thereof and declaring an emergency. Who will be speaking for us, please?
This is Montrella Jackson, Akron Municipal Court.
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. Hope you're having a good afternoon. So this equipment is, of course, in response to the COVID-19, since we've had to hold many of our proceedings remotely. This equipment is also partially sponsored by a grant from the Supreme Court of Ohio that is specifically related to the emergency response. It would be 8 video cameras that we would be installing in each of the courtrooms, also arraignment court. Even as we speak this week, we have people asking to participate remotely in different proceedings. So this is much needed equipment. We've piloted it for the last month or so, and we've reviewed other resources. It's well known to other courts, and we're excited with the possibility of getting it into the court.
Thank you. So you say you piloted it. Is this something that's already installed, you're actually using right now?
So we have 2 pilot cameras in 2 of the courtrooms. We tested the different camera sizes to see what would work. We found that the one with the pan tilt capabilities that gives the people the experience of the actual courtroom, because even though, you know, we have the COVID-19 situation, we are still required to provide public access, similar to you all, what you're doing now in this proceeding.
Okay. How? I just had one more question. How long before the other 6 cameras would be operational?
So it takes a few days to get them on site, and we have the software. We have a vendor that's working with us. I would say it takes at least a day per equipment, but we have to test it. We have to get everyone familiar with it. And that was our plan with piloting the systems, to get the judges familiar with the systems.
Okay, thank you. So any questions from members of the committee? Let me switch my view here so I can see if you're waving your hands. Oh, Ms. Amobian?
Yeah, just quickly, does this replace what you currently use? Because I know you have cameras for the arraignment court and all of that. Is this going to replace it or is just going to be an extension of that?
It would be an extension. The camera system that's currently installed is a hardwired system, and that is directly with the jail. We're not able to use that in any other courtroom. And the video conferencing equipment would expand our capabilities to all the courtrooms. And it would also allow us a backup system if the hardwire version goes down. But as of now, what we're doing in arraignment court is for the jail. It's video conferencing with the jail.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Malik.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jackson, for bringing this information. And I know that this is one of the most difficult parts of the crisis is figuring out how to continue having the justice system work. I did notice that in Columbus, they've moved some of the proceedings from the municipal court into the convention center. The convention center not being used because of the ban on gatherings. Has there been any discussion of similar things to increase distancing here in Akron?
So, Councilperson Malik, that is something that we did explore early on when we were concerned that the eviction case numbers and some of the civil proceedings would be high. There's been work. In fact, this week they've started up some of the eviction hearings. We believe we have the numbers under control. We were able to use the mezzanine floor of the court to reduce the traffic from our upper floors, which is recommended across the country. And we're comfortable with our numbers at this point that we have it under control, trying to make sure the traffic coming through the building is very limited. But we have reached out to other venues in the area to come up with a backup plan if our volume does start increasing, or if we have to close down again, looking at alternate locations.
Thank you. I appreciate the thoughtful and detailed answer.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Swirsky.
Well, just why weren't we advertising for bids? Why? It says without the formality of advertising for bids. Is there a reason for that?
So because this is an emergency response with the COVID-19, we were able to get the grant funding from the Supreme Court. Although, it says that we did not, it talks about advertising for bids. We still did explore other quotes. We reviewed various vendors and explored other resources that were available.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Okay, I'm looking around here. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, I would be looking for a favorable report and a suspension of the rules.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. All right, Ms. Jackson, you have your cameras. So thank you for all the work that's gone into this and keeping the system flowing down there. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. You have a great day.
Very good. All right, we have another item coming before us here. This is an ordinance amending Title 11 business regulations by deleting and eliminating Chapter 113 weights and measures of the Akron Codified Ordinances in its entirety, amending Title 11 business regulations, Chapter 111 regulations governing specific businesses, Article 29 secondhand dealers, by deleting and eliminating Section 111.492 inspections and tests of weights and measures of the Akron Codified Ordinances, authorizing the abandonment and transfer of weights and measures related equipment to Summit County and declaring an emergency. Who will be addressing us today?
I will. Thank you, Chairman, members of council. Shelley Goodrich, Deputy Finance Director. This is something that Steve Fricker and I, Finance Director, have spent some time digging into our departments and looking at what is value added activity. One of the areas that we're looking to clean up some of the code is in licenses and assessments. In 2007, we transferred our weights and measures division to the county. The county performs this function for all other municipalities. And in 2007, they took over that function for the city of Akron. We transferred some weights and measures equipment, a truck at that time, and an employee to the county. Currently, we license these weights and measures in the city of Akron, and businesses are responsible to pay a licensing fee to the city. However, we transmit 96% of that revenue to the county, and we have done so for the last 13 years. This amounts to about $60,000 per year. The city only gets to keep 4%. We are spending more in licenses and assessments, staff time, more on postage and paper than the city is even keeping of these funds. So we approached the county and have had discussions about, canceling this agreement. This is a function, like I said, that Kristen Scalise, who's county auditor, is required to go out and certified all gas pump scales. She affixes her little sticker to them to make sure that they are transmitting properly. And this is something that the city no longer does and was transferred to the county in 2007. So when we dug into this, we determined that this was just not a value added activity anymore for the city of Akron. So we want to remove this section of our code that would require the city of Akron to separately license weights and measures. So I'm happy to take any questions that anyone has.
Thank you. When I was reading the legislation, I would have guessed we did this about 6 or 7 years ago.
13.
It's been 2007. So
Yeah.
any questions or comments? We'll begin with committee members. Just wave your hand and I'll watch for you here. Yes, Mr. Malik.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Goodrich. I think especially during COVID, but generally it's great to, find ways in which we can be more efficient. Is there anything that we do that is not duplicative of the county? Is there anything that is different from the county?
No, we actually issue a separate license. Currently, if businesses do not pay for their license, there's no enforcement. So it's really just a separate piece of paper that they're paying for to affix in their business. There's no enforcement on the city side. And so really this was just a duplicative process. I think originally we probably did this to help cover some of the burden of the county taking on the costs and the employee that they assumed from the city. But this has really ran its course. And like I said, we're spending more time, and we have 2 staff members that actually have to issue the license, are mailing all of this. And and we're sending the bulk of the revenue to the county. So it's just not something that we need to do any longer. It's not being enforced on the city level, and it's not something that we need to separately license.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Perman?
Yes, Ms. Amobian, thank you.
Yeah. Shelley, could you tell us, the 2 employees you said that were doing some unnecessary work, would they transfer over to the county?
No, they do other jobs. So this is a portion of their jobs. They work in accounts receivable and in licensing and assessments. And there's many other things that they do. This is just one thing. And there's going to be some other things that I'll be bringing back to council to clean up our ordinances where there's not a value to us in licensing these separately. We're not enforcing it. And so they actually were very happy to get this kind of off their plate because they realize it's not a value added activity, but they will be retained by the city and they have plenty of other activities that they work on. So this is just one portion of their job.
And there's nothing in the law that states that we have to do anything with regard to this.
Nope. Normally, actually, in doing my research, there's only 3 cities that currently still have weights and measures departments. And it's the city of Columbus, the city of Cleveland, and another one that I can't recall at the time, but this is really a county auditor function. So we used to do it. We used to have employees that did it, and really it was duplicative of what the county was doing. So in 2007, we merged forces and they really took this function over. So, nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Shelley, I think when we did this, only one employee left.
Correct.
Left
And I
the city
believe
and
he's
went-
retired. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so like the truck we gave them was in 1997. So that they have long disposed of that, as well as much of the stuff that we gave them when we did this agreement in 2007.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yeah, I learned, as I was reading, I learned something I did not know, that Summit County is the only county in the state of Ohio. Of course, we measure, gas and weights, but we also measure quality of petroleum to see if the octane rates are actually, what the pump is saying. I guess we're the only county in the state to do that. So good for them. All right.
Good for us. We're getting
Yeah,
quality
that's right.
gasoline.
You really are buying 87 octane. So, all right. If there's no other questions, I would ask for a motion to suspend the rules.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 All right. Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Very good. We will pass that out this evening. And I do not believe we had anything else to come before us. So we will adjourn at looks like about 3:17 over here in Kenmore. So.
It's-